Welcome into episode 48 of Full Throttle, the Presidio Group's automotive industry podcast. I'm your host, Jason Stein, managing director at Presidio. Full Throttle continues to be the industry's go-to meeting point for bold conversations with leaders shaping the automotive world.
Dealers are absolutely critical throughout the process, and we're providing dealers with access to a large new channel, a powerful channel for selling cars to a broad set of customers that know and trust that channel. So it's very much a partnership. It's true. Some of the speculation or fears that it's a direct-to-consumer model. It's absolutely the opposite. It is enabling existing franchise dealers to reach customers in a new channel that customers know and trust.
Innovation doesn't just come from invention, it comes from reimagination. Reimagining what car buying could feel like, reimagining what digital retail could do, and most importantly, reimagining the customer not as a transaction, but as a relationship. That's what Matt Nuffort is doing at Amazon Auto. As a director of Amazon Autos, he's not just launching a new vertical, he's bringing the world's biggest marketplace into one of the most complex consumer decisions, buying a car. Because for decades, the automotive experience has been stuck between the showroom and the search bar. Convenient, but not complete. Information, but not necessarily intuitive. And Matt saw the opportunity to change that, and he's doing it at Amazon at scale. By blending the brand's obsession with customer experience and its precision in logistics, Amazon Autos is redefining what discovery, trust, and convenience can mean in this space. This isn't about disrupting for the sake of it. It's about removing friction, elevating confidence, and meeting customers where they already are, online. Today, Matt Nuffort joins us on Full Throttle.
Hello, I'm Matt Nuffort, and this is Presidio's podcast, Full Throttle.
An absolute pleasure to welcome back to a microphone. The last time we were together, he was on a stage. This time it's a smaller stage, but nonetheless, we are together. Matt, what a pleasure to have you on the program.
Well, it's always a pleasure speaking with you, Jason. And that venue in Dallas was really amazing. So look forward to doing this today.
Yeah, May 7th was our U.S. Auto Retail Conference, and well-attended and great topics. And a number of things we talked about focused on where Amazon is in the industry right now. There's so much talk about it. There's excitement, there's speculation, there's concerns. You're here to kind of address all of that. So let's kind of get into it with a background question. What drew Amazon to the automotive retail space? And Matt, why now?
Well, it's a very good question in the sense that I know there's been speculation for a long time. And we have always been looking at whether we can dramatically improve the customer experience. Mm-hmm. If we believe that that's the case, then we're interested in a space. And in this case, we felt like that was true. It is very complex. And our model that we arrived at, working directly with dealers as sellers of record, dealers set the pricing. I think that's a critical element. And it's a space where customers definitely feel that there's opportunity to improve the overall experience purchasing a car, and we believe we can give customers that experience working directly with dealers as the sellers.
One dealer who I talked to maybe in the last couple of months described it well. He said, "I've never worked harder and I've never had more difficult questions asked of me, but it's never been better." And I think that's the Amazon process, right, Matt?
That's right.
We
obsess over customers. Mm-hmm. And in this case, we consider that we have multiple customers. We have the end customer who we all need to satisfy. We want the end customer, dealers, OEMs, Amazon, we all want the end customer to have a great experience. And then we have dealers as customers as well. And we want them to be able to leverage the powerful marketplace that Amazon has built to reach millions of customers and do that in a way that customers find familiar and trustworthy.
The automotive space is, you just hit on a key word there, trust. And the automotive space has known throughout time to, sometimes lack in it and sometimes gain it back. What do you bring over to the car business on the trust side?
Think, I mean, customers, first of all, what many sites do online is the customer has to log in to enter their personal information, and that's often a friction point for many. I think we have the benefit that most customers are already logged in. They shop on Amazon regularly, and they're familiar with the experience. So we've developed an experience that they find familiar. It looks like Amazon. Um, and they're accustomed to it, right? Um, and the other, I think, is just transparency. We work really hard and have from the very beginning. I mean, when you're purchasing something online, you're not looking at it physically. So Amazon has always tried to instill trust in the item that the customer is looking at and the promises we make to the customer on delivery. And so we're bringing that philosophy to the car buying journey, working directly with dealers to ensure that the experience that starts on Amazon and then finishes in the dealership is trustworthy and a good experience across the entire journey.
What have you learned so far since the launch?
Well, first of all, we're very encouraged by both the customer and the dealer response. Customers have told us that they really enjoy the process. They actually have told us they really enjoy the process in the dealership as well, which has been very encouraging for us. They do a lot of the hard part on Amazon, so searching through different cars, looking at different selection options, choosing their protection products, and then they show up in the dealership for the fun part, which is picking up the keys and setting up Bluetooth or whatever. Um, it's a very challenging transaction. So we aren't able to accommodate every different iteration of the transaction, and that's where dealers are really critical. In the cases where we cannot, we ask the customer if they'd like us to transfer them to the dealership, and the dealership often is able to solve the issue.
Are you back to my earlier comment by a dealer? Are you learning as much about automotive and dealerships as the dealer is learning about you?
I'm sure. We formed a dealer council more than 2 years ago, and that dealer council has been absolutely instrumental in helping us understand some of the complexities of a car purchase. You hear the stat all the time that a car purchase is more complex than buying a home, and I think that's true. Given the number of documents you have to sign and all the different elements of, registering the car and so dealers are really good at figuring all of that out. They're super entrepreneurial,
Right.
and we definitely have learned a lot from them.
What have you learned about customer preferences, maybe when researching or purchasing a vehicle through the Amazon storefront?
I mean, I think one thing we knew from the beginning, and sort of to your question of why did we get into the space, is we knew that customers already were starting online. They were starting their customer journey searching for cars online. So it was sort of a natural transition to give them that experience on Amazon. I think that one of the biggest learnings, we're trying to build this, as I said earlier, a experience that's great for customers and great for dealers. And there are certain things that in a dealership, when you have a salesperson, for example, with F&I, where the conversion online is traditionally not as high. And so that those are areas where we've been focusing a lot of attention, working with our dealer council and dealers um, to figure out how to give that value proposition to customers that they get in the dealership online.
When I interviewed Fan in New York on the stage at the New York Auto Show, the JD Power NADA event, she was adamant, back to the dealer council point. She said, "We want feedback from dealers at all times. We've changed many things because of what dealers have told us. But most importantly, we are not a threat to the dealer model. We are not a threat to the distribution channel or them surrendering their model." I imagine you can put those fears
Well,
to rest as well.
100%. We, uh, well, first of all, dealers are the sellers of record. Dealers own the inventory.
Right.
Amazon doesn't want to own that inventory. It's expensive. Um, and dealers set the pricing. Dealers provide the end customer experience. So dealers are absolutely critical throughout the process. And we're providing dealers with access to a large new channel, a powerful channel for selling cars to a broad set of customers that know and trust that channel. So it's very much a partnership. It's true. Some of the speculation or fears that it's a direct to consumer model. It's absolutely the opposite. It is enabling existing franchise dealers to reach customers in a new channel that customers know and trust. And I always say it's like giving the franchise dealers a similar experience to what some of the other direct to consumer brands offer.
I would even say, you might not, but I might even say it's a giant bullhorn in terms of marketing.
The marketing is definitely great opportunity, and we're developing new tools there too for dealers to reach customers, particularly finding the customers who are more likely to engage with the brand that the dealer is selling. I think that's a great opportunity.
Let's talk a little bit about the dealer perspective for a minute. What specific benefits are dealers seeing from partnering with Amazon in thus far this year?
Well, I mean, certainly,
Traffic.
yes. Some dealers have done quite well. I won't go into specific numbers, but they've been very happy from a sales perspective. But they also tell us, we've had many dealers tell us that it's a very efficient sale. So their sales staff appreciates it because you have a happy customer coming in the door. They're not coming in thinking, okay, here we go on the negotiation. They've already essentially purchased the car. They've configured everything. They maybe applied for financing. They have um, their approval, their credit approval. They've signed a number of their documents, and so they're coming in the door really for the fun part, as I said, to pick up the keys and learn about the car. Um, so that's been overwhelming feedback. I mean, we it's not perfect like anything. We have still a lot of work to do to make it less work for the dealer, both for onboarding, for managing the sales, and we're actively working on that. That's where we getting the feedback. We do regular voice of the seller. Um, Surveys to get feedback on things that are most critical to our selling dealers, and we've been actively working to fix those.
Does that just mean more efficiency, Matt?
That's right. I think so. I think at the end of the day, well, if they can get some incremental sales and then they're very efficient sales, then that's a win-win. It's great for the customer, great for the dealer.
Future outlook. What are the key areas where you believe Amazon Autos can focus maybe on expanding or enhancing its offerings for customers and dealers?
It really is on both sides. So for customers, it's about adding selection. So adding additional brands, we want to give dealers the ability to sell all the cars that they have on their lot, which are both new and used. And then, as I mentioned earlier, giving dealers more options with additional lenders, additional F&I options. These are all things that we are actively working on through working with our dealer council and defining. And I think that it will lead to both a better customer experience, more options for customers, both on the vehicle side and the lending side, and the product side. And then it will lead to more options for dealers as well.
The used is in its infancy, right? You've only just recently launched that. What are you learning there? What's different?
Well, it's not officially launched, so we've only announced that it's coming.
Okay.
And I think the used vehicles are a great proposition for customers. potentially to get a car at a slightly lower price point than new. Dealers, it's in many cases, 50% of the cars on the lot for them. So definitely a great opportunity for them to sell more cars on Amazon.
You already have there's a healthy catalog of parts and accessories and all kinds of other things that one can purchase online, irrespective of Amazon Autos. Is there a way to bring those worlds together as well?
Well, I certainly hope so. I think as we think about dealers as customers, like I said, and we think long term, we want to give them the ability to reach customers, whether they're buying a new car, a used car, or servicing their existing car. So I think there are lots of opportunities there. It's not something we're working on at the moment.
And we all love, as consumers, the Amazon return policy, but I'm guessing this is a little different.
The policy we have today with new cars with Hyundai, so Hyundai is the only
Right.
brand that we have today. So Hyundai has a 3-day exchange program, and all dealers who sell on Amazon opt into that program. If the customer wants to return the vehicle, they can exchange it for another vehicle. And then we're evaluating, what a used car return might look like. Again, that's actively working with the dealer council and our dealers.
Matt, if we were to project a year from now and you and I are sitting here having this conversation, what would success look like for Amazon Autos?
Well, number one is happy customers. Like I said, that's something that everybody wants. The car manufacturers, the OEMs want it, the dealers want it, and Amazon wants to provide that. So if customers are happy with the experience, it's more convenient for them, great. For the set of customers that want to buy online, right? We recognize not every customer wants to buy a car online. Um, and then and then dealers are happy. And so for dealers to be happy, they need to be selling cars, it needs to be profitable, and it needs to be low effort. And so those are all areas that we're working on, giving dealers more options to sell more cars and to do so profitably. And then the level of effort is also a key area that we're actively working on. So if all of those things are true in a year, we'll be quite happy.
Hmm. Let's delve into a bit of the personal for a minute, if you don't mind. You're because I think your story is fascinating. You're an American living in Luxembourg. You're a I think once you are one, you're always one. You're a captain of the United States Air Force, and spent some time in Afghanistan, and have had an interesting past working your way through Project a Phone, and various iterations before getting here. You still fly now, right? And I
I
know you
do.
fly with your little guy. Tell me
I
that.
do. Yeah, well, first of all, I've always been passionate about aviation. So, automotive, if there's one industry that is maybe slower and more conservative than automotive, it's the aviation industry. But I was an aerospace engineer. Uh, I was an aerospace engineer in college, and so I like mechanical aerospace has always been my interest. And I really love to build things. So you mentioned, I've started and sold two companies outside of Amazon, and then it's been great within Amazon to have the opportunity to start new businesses and grow them. And so that, Amazon Autos is the biggest and most complex of those businesses that I've done within Amazon. Um, but it really is, it's a great opportunity. And I moved to Europe 8 years ago with my family for family reasons, and that's when I got into the automotive space. And we had run a number of pilots, vehicle sales pilots in Europe, that informed some of the thinking behind getting Amazon Autos off the ground. So it's been a great journey, and yes, I love taking my 2.5-year-old and my 11-year-old flying whenever they are willing to go, which usually is quite often.
I bet. Um, for those who don't know, and this is such a fascinating piece of your story, you might be in Amazon Autos right now, but you developed a video camera stabilization and control system that I think we probably all take for granted now. But if you go back 12 years ago, right, before B-Works was created, you made a patent pending camera stabilization system.
Yeah,
You,
absolutely.
you brought it to the customer in less than a year and a half.
It's another area where technology is just going so fast. And when I was in graduating from college, we developed really one of the first what we called micro air vehicles. So, a drone, right?
A drone, yeah.
And the individual accelerometers were $300 per accelerometer, and they were like the size of the tip of your thumb. Uh, Later, 10 years later, when we started B-Works, you could get three accelerometers, three gyroscopes on a single chip that was a quarter of the size of your thumb, and it cost $12. So that technology has advanced so fast and really has enabled a lot of these capabilities. But I've always found imaging interesting. We were putting that stabilization system on cars, actually bringing it back to automotive.
Mm.
One of our visions was to be able to mount it on a car so it would stabilize the image, and then you could control it remotely. A camera operator could control it remotely, and so we actually had filmmakers who were working with Land Rover at the time who were using the product, and then we ended up in the Sony booth in Paramount Studios and sold the company in 2016.
There you go. Well, you were working on vehicles. You're working on vehicles now. It all comes full circle, Matt.
Exactly.
What a pleasure to have you on the program. It's been great to see you again and to be with you. And I know there are exciting things ahead with Amazon Autos, and just you're very gracious to spend as much time with Presidio as you have in the last month. So thank you so much.
Well, it's a great organization, and it's always good to see you, Jason. You do a great job, and happy to do it. So
thank you.
Yeah, look forward to the next time we see each other.
Great. Thank you, Matt. That's the 48th episode of Full Throttle, and a special thanks to my guest, Amazon Autos' Matt Nuffort. Thanks for listening. For a library of these episodes with industry leaders, go to thepresidiogroup.com. You can also find a library of the shows on the Presidio Group's YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jason Stein. We'll talk to you again next time.